What is up, MMA fans? This is Jason Burgos for SureDog.com. Tonight, I have the great pleasure of being joined by one of the headliners of the One Championship Century 2-card event. He's undoubtedly one of the faces of the promotion, and because he holds a unique place as a current two-division champion at middleweight and light heavyweight. He is a sports icon in his home country of Myanmar and will face maybe the greatest test of his career on October 13th as he defends his light heavyweight crown against heavyweight champion Brandon Vera. That man is the Burmese Python himself, Aung La Nsang. Aung La, thank you for joining me, or today actually, in the lead up to this really pivotal fight in your career coming up.
Thank you for having me.
Now, for me, I think, and for many fans out there, this fight in particular, your fight, is the most anticipated fight on either of the two-parter for the Century event. For you personally, does this title defense feel different? Is there more demand from your time for people like me in the media in different parts of the world? You know, does it feel bigger from people at home in Myanmar? Is there more of an interest in it because of your fame there? Or not quite yet, and probably by fight week, then it might feel like a little different and a little bigger than your past fights?
For my fans back home in Myanmar, the last, all my championship fights have been very big. I guess for the Western media, for you guys, it's a little bit more because Brandon Vera is a bigger name. And it's exciting. It's great to get noticed, but for me, it's still the same. I prepare hard. I take Brandon Vera very seriously, just like I take my previous opponents seriously. For me, it's an exciting fight because I have always been a fan of Brandon Vera. 10 years ago, I've been watching him, and I've always been rooting for him. So, as a fan of Brandon Vera, it's a very big fight.
When Brandon challenged you after the rematch and defense over Hasegawa, was that something you had known, for some weeks, for some time was likely to happen? Was it a surprise at all? And then also, was there, there was some talk of your interest in possibly moving up to heavyweight eventually at some point. Were you also mad in an amused way that Vera beat you to getting a title challenge for your title instead of you challenging him for his?
I knew about it. I knew that he wanted to fight me since the first press conference they had in Japan, even before the March fight. So I knew about it because he challenged it. He wanted to be the double champ. He wanted to be the double champ in the previous promotion that he fought. And it's his dream, and that's fine with me. And him challenging me. Was it a surprise? No, it wasn't a surprise. I knew it was coming, and I just had to get through Hasegawa. My focus had to be at Hasegawa, but I knew it was coming.
Now, Brandon's challenge to you was by far different than what often happens in the West when it comes to fight challenging and promotion. I'll hear we're all used to what Brock Lesnar and Daniel Cormier did, that kind of stuff. For people that didn't see it, he came at it, very respectful. It was more like asking, for a title chance than a bravado kind of challenge. For you, is it almost a relief to be a part of a promotion where fight building is done more in a traditional martial arts kind of way, respect, honor, that there is no trash talk, social media slander? Does it make your job easier in ways because of that?
Most definitely it's different. It's a different approach that One Championship has, and I like that. There's no trash talking, we're all respectable, and that's what martial arts should be about. Just because we're professional fighters, doesn't give us the right to be assholes.
Yes.
No, seriously, just because we're professional fighters doesn't make us any better than anybody else on the street. It doesn't make me a better person, that much better than you. That's a simple example,
Right.
And I have to respect you just as much as you should respect me. And that gets taken away, all the theoretics when the camera's on, it's kind of almost annoying, So it's nice. And it's a product that One Championship is trying to produce, and it's something that I can work behind.
I recently had a conversation with Michael Schiavello about this event, and of course this fight in particular. I asked about Vera going down in weight for this, in a weight that is when many fans, watching him in the UFC, they kind of wish he would be at, like a hypothetical cruiserweight division. Schiavello talked about Vera's speed now and that he believes Vera should be even faster, a little more faster at this weight class, light heavyweight. Are you, Henry Hooft, and the team anticipating an even faster Vera than what we may have seen lately? And if so, how much more difficult does this make the matchup for you? And could he be possibly faster than you on fight night, do you think?
Vera is not slow. Vera is not slow. He's explosive. He's fast. But can he keep that pace? That's the other question. I don't think Vera's going to be slow at all.
Right.
I think he's fast twitch. I think he's got fast kicks. But is he going to be able to keep that pace? That's the question. And I'm going to be pressuring. So we work with tall people. Lengthy people, and we work with heavy guys in this camp. Henry Hoof had me working with a lot of big guys this camp. It's great, my training partners will make Brandon Vera look small.
Interesting. Is there anybody in particular? I know like Steve Mowry is a guy you can't be large. He's a guy that's someone you've been working with a lot. Anybody else specifically?
Yeah, Steve Mowry, Stefan Struve, Linton Vassell. These guys will make Brandon Vera looks small.
Yeah.
Size is not going to be a problem at all. But you got to know, Brandon Vera is fast twitch. He's fast.
Yeah.
Making mistakes, he'll make you pay for it, And when fight night comes, I got to be careful with that.
Also, when I talked to Schiavello, he mentioned Vera not really being tested at heavyweight yet in one, as well as the fact that you have what he referred to as a steel pipe in terms of the power in your punches. And his big question for this fight was if Vera can hold up to that steel pipe. That and in an all-out brawl favors you. Of course, Brandon will want to work from the outside. He uses distance, uses speed he has, the fast twitch like you mentioned. Do you agree with like Schiavello's assessment? A brawl is the best type, maybe a fight for you in a situation like this on a strategic level, and how do you initiate that said kind of war with Brandon?
I have a very good right hand, and I believe in my right hand. My strategy for this fight is obviously it's the pressure him. Can he keep up with my pressure? That's the question. Can he handle my power? Like I'm telling you, since my last fight, I've been working a lot. I know this fight's coming. But I've been working. That's all I've been working on for the last 6 months. If he just did an 8-week camp, that's not going to be enough. And I hope he's bringing in bodies like me, But forget about like what he's been doing. My coaches and I are put in a good training camp. We put in like things that we're going to implement on that night, so it's going to be good.
Now, speaking of a body like yours, Schiavello mentioned also how there was talk of you moving up to heavyweight at some point, like I mentioned earlier. He felt you would be as perfect as anyone to possibly be the first ever one triple division champion. Plus, he felt you can make the transition to that weight class very well. So there is no chance of that. Nothing like that.
I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm gonna stay. After this, I'm gonna defend my middleweight belt. I'm gonna stick to what my body type is, and my ideal body type is middleweight. Middleweight and light heavyweight. So I'm not gonna move up. It doesn't make any sense to me.
All right, interesting. Good to know too. I mean, and now in Myanmar, you are a huge star, iconic sports figure. With one now having a movie studio and the new talent agency working to get fighters work outside of just fighting, has there been discussions to try and get you like acting roles, commercials, work in Myanmar, or just in general? If you haven't done it already, maybe you're already doing acting and stuff like that. I don't know about it yet.
We did some commercials, some like mosquito commercials, some Angel Oil commercials, but I don't think acting is for me.
No? I mean, I talked to Martin. I felt like Martin could be James Bond. I feel like a buddy cop Tango and Cash, Martin and Aung La action movie. I think that'd be a huge seller. No.
No, no. Next couple of years, I'm gonna really like invest everything, and I'm gonna try to be the best mixed martial artist I can be.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm gonna put on some more exciting bouts.
Being in this major, role model type figure you are at home, as you get past every fight, every title defense win, do you feel like an added pressure? Because, those people in Myanmar, they look up to you, they're riding with you through this whole story, through this whole journey. Is it an added weight after a certain point because how, looked up to and idolized you are? Or is it almost a motivating factor? And does it give you a fire that burns even stronger because, you're so important to so many people?
Definitely both, I could take it as an added pressure, especially when fight night comes and the whole country is expecting you to win.
Yeah.
That could get to you, I mean, obviously, during training camp, it's a boost, it helps you get through days that you don't feel like, going to the gym. It's nice to know that the whole country's behind your back. You have people messaging you and stuff. That's nice, but it could be both ways. You could use it, negatively, as a pressure. Like if you watch my fight in Burma in Yangon, like the security guards want to take pictures of you. The whole when you're there, like it's insane. Like everybody expects you to win. So with that, it could be a negative thing if you can't handle the pressure. But for me, I've lost so many fights, it doesn't bother me.
How do you, because when I was talking to Michael again, he mentioned how huge you are in Myanmar. He compared it to being even bigger than like what we think of McGregor in Dublin. He compared it to be even bigger than what we think of Ronaldo in Brazil. Like you're huge there. Well, and we talked to you last time about it, the statue, the ceremony that happened not too long ago last year about it. Is there a type of thing where you have to work not to let it get to you too much? Because I'm sure when you were a kid growing up, you didn't expect to be this big of a star back home. Do you have to does your family keep you level-headed and make you take out the trash so you're not a big star?
Yeah. Tells you how unhandy man you are. And then tells you to go change the diaper.
Uh-huh.
It keeps you level-headed.
That's
and I think lifestyle wise, I'm more on the chill man, so I don't think that's gonna affect me. But it is crazy though. It's like when you fly out there, it's like your world is switched. It's like it's like you become instant celebrity as soon as you land in Yangon, in the Yangon airport. But it doesn't get to me. I'm still me.
Do you have to mentally prepare for that? Like when you're going to take a flight over and visit, do you have to okay, I got to get ready for just honestly being harassed, but in a positive harassing? They all love you. Do you have to kind of get yourself geared up for that?
For sure. It's a whole different story. When you go to Myanmar, it's a whole different story, and you got to mentally prepare yourself for it.
Now, speaking of your family, as I mentioned Martin earlier, what some fans may not realize or know, at least here as people get more familiar with one and start to watch one for as much as UFC, two of the top fighters are teammates and close friends in you and Martin Nguyen. I have, talked to Martin a couple times and recently, and we talked about where you were a big part of making the decision to leave Australia during camps and train at Hard Knocks 365, which was tough because he gets homesick. The family atmosphere you have at home is a big deal for him. It helps ease his stress. Talk to me about how you guys ended up becoming good friends and how much of a great addition he has been to Hard Knocks 365.
Him and I went through a lot of similar things. We connected online. I congratulated him when he became a double champ, and then we had a lot in common. A lot of struggles that we had that were very similar. We're also very, we have a family, we have kids, so and then we also have the same, 4-year-old kids. So that was kind of cool. And then just knowing each other's struggle, knowing what we both went through. and then so that makes us very comfortable with each other. And then he came and stayed with us for the first camp, and it went very smooth. It went very well, and ever since then, we've been very, very close friends. And it's good because he gets to help me out, when I need stuff, and he kind of understands my view. So when I'm in Japan, he'll be there. We'll be together, and it's nice. It's comforting, And then the same thing when he defends his belt in Singapore, I'll be there as well.
Do your kids call him Uncle Martin or Uncle Champ?
Say what?
Do your kids call him Uncle Martin or Uncle Champ?
No, Uncle Martin.
Now, I always like to end the interviews to learn a little bit more about the subject, so people watch this can maybe learn something they don't know. Now, away from fighting, and then we know you're a devoted family man, that takes a lot of time, aside from not being as handy as you said. What are some of the things you really like to do? Like when I talked to Martin, he talked about motorcycles. That was something he liked to do, right? Drive motorcycles, stuff like that. What's something that's a personal passion for you that maybe surprise people or maybe not, that has just nothing to do with fighting, that you like to do when you just have some time alone to yourself?
I like cooking.
Oh, okay. I've heard that a lot. What do you like to cook?
I like cooking. Yeah, like making curry. Rice and curry. In training camp, I can't really eat much rice. But I love, there's nothing more than a nice, like a beef curry with rice. Burmese beef curry with rice. There's nothing better than that in my mind. I'm a simple man. I like to cook, I like to make food, and I like to host people for gatherings and stuff like that.
So if you have a bunch of people over, what is the beef curry going to be your go-to meal for dinner for that night, or do you have a really excellent go-to that just like your right hand, it's fire, and that's the thing you make?
Yeah.
The beef curry, all right.
I make really good any kind of meat. I use beef. I use beef. I use lamb. I think some good meat. Meat with rice. Meat with good carbs.